Hello, all of you magnificent maniacs out there. My name is Maniac, and welcome to another Storytime video. This one is actually going to include two stories. One of them being a funny one, and the other one being an origin story about something I made. First, I'm going to tell you the funny story, and then I'll tell you the origin story. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so one time I had gotten up off of this couch that we have. Now, I still do this today, but I would and still do get up off the side of it over the arm of the sofa or couch or whatever you call it. Well, my brother tells me as he's walking by to be careful, and I say, and I quote, I'm always careful. um, well, literally, maybe like a millisecond after I say that, I trip over a box that's in front of me. The karma really got me that time. Me and my brother still occasionally mention that story here and there to each other. Well, if I ever do end up falling off the arm of the couch, one of these days when trying to get up off the couch, then, I'll probably, um, let you know in the comments. I mean, don't worry, like, I do get off of it safely, I don't jump off the couch. I, sit on the arm of the couch and slowly get up off of it. But there is a possibility that one of these days I may end up losing balance and falling off of it, but who knows. But anyway, so on to the origin story now. So I don't know if any of you have been wondering this or not, but I'm sure some of you had this in the back of your mind, or you've directly thought about it as one of your primary thoughts. But I'm betting you've at some point wondered the origin behind the face of my YouTube channel, and also the the sprite I use for myself whenever I'm talking in a video. And that is my persona, Maniac. Well, interestingly enough, he started off as just a random character that I one day just randomly decided to make. And thing is, after I first initially made him, I didn't use him for any comics or any animations for my YouTube channel or anything. Now, granted, I did make Maniac. Well, his original name was Bernard. Here's an image for what Maniac or Bernard used to look like. Yeah, you can see that he's pretty different compared to the Maniac of today. But like I was saying, granted, I did make him back in 2018 originally, and my channel did exist, but I never used it to upload videos of my own at the time. Well, I only started uploading videos a year after, back at the tail end of 2019. But yeah, Maniac or Bernard, as I called him at the time, was pretty much just a random character I decided to make one day, but never used a single time after I initially made him. That is until I think later that same year, when visiting our grandparents once, and I just randomly got the idea to make some fan art of my own OC and Jab's YouTube persona. I'll probably link one of Jab's older videos in the description so you can see what his YouTube persona looked like when using a space cam. So you'll see the inspiration that went into the creation of the more cartoony Jab sprites that I've been using in my content. That includes Jab in the video. But anyway, in that same fan art, I also included myself. But here's the thing. I was thinking of what OC to even use. Because I wanted to use a pre-existing OC that I already had, that I wasn't really using for anything else. So I ended up getting the idea to use Maniac, because, I wasn't using him for anything else. So, why not use him for the fan art? Well, after I made that fan art, probably during the same day, I then got the idea to make my own comic series. And this is actually probably the first time I've ever mentioned my comic series on my channel. I'm actually working on my own comic series of Maniac and Jab's adventures throughout the multiverse. I'll talk more about my comic series in a later video, but I'm only gonna mention it briefly here. Yeah, another thing about old Maniac, or Bernard, one thing you probably noticed about that old artwork of mine, of him, is the fact that he has a white fluffy tail, when the Maniac of today doesn't have a visible tail. Well, that's because Maniac used to be a demonic bunny. Well, at some point, when I started using him more often, I eventually made some artwork of him with 2 wings. 2 bat wings, specifically. And after I made that artwork of him with wings, I then got the idea to make him a bat instead. And also, if you didn't know, I mean, it might have already been obvious due to past videos that I've made that have included this character in the thumbnail or even in the videos themselves, but Maniac was actually based off of Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh yeah, one other thing about Maniac's design is the fact that you probably noticed that Maniac has a detachable robot leg and a robotic hand that is probably also detachable. I mean, I've never created a sprite of his hand being detached from his arm, but chances are it's probably detachable as well. Those also came from the fact that he was inspired by Bonnie. There's many other versions of Maniac I've made, specifically for the comic series, due to it being a comic about the multiverse, but I'll go into those other versions later. Well, I think I'll end the video here. I hope that you enjoyed those stories to some degree, and I will see all of you Magnificent Maniacs in the next video. Bye-bye!